In the last few weeks, we have learned to increase our presence in online forums while seeking to maintain an authenticity and honesty in our approach. As our ultimate goal in this program is to become an authentic and inspiring leader, it is important to find and define our voice in online communication as part of that leadership. In the modern era, online communication has become a must for leaders across all industries and cultures, and a leader who can utilize their online presence in a positive manner has an advantage over those who can't or choose not to. In week 4, we watched a TED Talk on the power of vulnerability by Brené Brown. In the video, the author teaches us that vulnerability in communication is a necessary part of authenticity. As a researcher, Ms. Brown decided to research shame, and that led her to look at vulnerability. In American culture, vulnerability has a negative connotation, and one's first thought is to recoil from the idea entirely. After all, who wants to be vulnerable, especially in a communication format that is open to all, where anyone who comes across it may judge it or you? Ms. Brown says that although that possibility exists, we cannot let that prevent us from coming from a place of vulnerability, especially as a leader. She says that although being vulnerable online in this age of reflexive cynicism can be truly frightening, it is absolutely essential to know things like love and belonging, creativity, and joy. I really enjoyed her teaching and went on to read and watch several other things from her online. These teachings from Ms. Brown did get me thinking in ways I hadn't before and stretched me to follow up on this important part of an online presence. With only 6 weeks in which to practice how we approached and contributed to online forums, I felt we really just touched the tip of the iceberg, but it laid the groundwork for exploring these topics more fully throughout the rest of our program. I was especially drawn to the topics of authenticity and integrity online being as important as it is in our actual daily lives. The thing about being online is you have no control, once the product is out there, to explain it more thoroughly or defend its honesty. And you have no real way to retract it either. Even a deleted video, if it has been posted anywhere, lives in the shadows of the online world forever. So great thought and care should be put into what you post or say, as you may be judged by it at any time in your future. So you'd better be certain that it is authentically your opinion or idea and that you are honest in your assessments, as you may be called upon to defend or explain them later. I think the success I felt was just getting out there and getting started. Although it was awkward, it did allow me to step out in ways I hadn't before. On the failures, it was not so much failure as, again, lack of time to build both a presence and an audience online. In Scripture, the emphasis on authenticity and integrity is greater than in any other forum in my thinking. Can you even imagine for a moment what it must be like to know you are responsible for penning the authentic words of God? Perhaps that can be a source of strength to those of us who struggle just to pen our own authentic thoughts without discomfort. The Bible has much to say about honesty and integrity. Proverbs 11:3 says, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity." How many current news items can you think of that confirm that statement? I know I can think of quite a few. One of the best verses I found on this topic that really spoke to me is Titus 2:7-8. "In everything set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching show integrity, seriousness, and soundness of speech that cannot be condemned, so that those who oppose you may be ashamed because they have nothing bad to say about us." With that thought in mind, as we communicate, we should be prepared to stray on the side of caution, always seeking to be an example of integrity and sound teaching.